So good morning. My name
Good
is
morning.
Juone Kadri, and I want to invite you to my first show. This is Just Juone, a journey for hope and healing. And I have a guest on today. Her name is Tirra Omilade, and she is my goddess guru. She says that on her show. I found her on YouTube and started watching her. As I was telling her, she's in the grocery store with me when I'm shopping, in the thrift store. And I was always looking for her messages. When I first started, she wasn't posting as much. And so I was just like waiting and waiting. And so she has stepped up her game and is like posting almost probably every day now. And so I love her show. I love her messages. I will let her talk more about herself, but what I have gained from her, she's actually a coach for me right now. She does coaching. I met her initially well, not in person because we've only been on Zoom, but it feels like we are sisters, cousins, something from some life. Um, and so I got a reading from her, and her spirit, even you can feel it on YouTube, is such a gentle spirit. And I don't mean gentle in the space of like a pushover. I mean that she's careful with you, because when you do this kind of work, you want somebody to be carefully walking you through the work. Now, she will call you on your stuff and help you to get on track, but it's not in a way of shaming. But she will say, "Hey, you want to think about this." So I will turn it over to you, Tirra, and if you will just tell us a little bit about yourself and the work that you do, please plug your platform so that we know. I will put it in the notes at the bottom, and then we'll go on with the questions.
Well, first of all, I just want to say I'm so honored to be here with you today on your first podcast. I feel just like so special. It feels like, a holiday. So thank you so much for having me. I agree. It feels like we're related. It's just like, wow, such soul connection. So thank you, Juone, for having me here. Queen Juone, Empress Juone. Yeah, so I sort of like talking about the fact that you can see me out on the street. I go to the grocery store. I'm married to my husband. We've been married 27 years. I have two sons who I've homeschooled. That's largely been the work that I've done over the last 21 years, but I have both gone on to college, and so I'm an empty nester now. I've taught fitness. I love fitness. I love dance. I've taught African dance. And it's like you just see me on the street and you don't know that, number one, I've always been a little bit different, had a different way of seeing spirituality and understanding myself, as a woman, as a Black woman, as an African American, and so many other ways. Someone from the South of the United States of America, we got a whole another identity caught up in that.
Yes,
And don't we though?
yes, yes.
And so it's like I've always just been a little bit different in the way that I've seen spirituality, and it has shaped the way that I have approached the world. Some people keep secrets, and my secret was I just don't see God the way that everyone else sees God. I don't understand God the way that everyone understands God, even though I bought into it like, you know, good girls are taught to do in this culture. I did my best. And then one day I was like, why is God he and not she? I just don't understand that. Like, it does not make sense to me.
Yeah.
I give thanks though that, my parents, they were a little bit weird. I was raised up as a little Black girl in Mississippi. I'm from Mississippi, in the Catholic Church. And so so I got to experience things that were a little bit different, like the incense, which a lot of us in the spiritual community know as smudging, which is a Native American tradition. We got to experience, one of my favorite things from the Catholic Church was honoring my ancestors, because in the Catholic Church they don't want folks to get stuck in purgatory. So they're like, go light this candle over here for, auntie so-and-so, grandma, grandpa, whatever. So I would go light this candle for my grandpa, who I just loved. And I was just like, always so like, oh, I just love my grandpa. And I'm lighting this candle. Ancestral veneration was taught to
Yes.
me, even though I didn't really know what it was. But I remember being a little girl, um, maybe 6 or 7 years old. And I looked at my mom one day, Juone, and I said, Mama, you're supposed to tell me what I'm supposed to do. And it was just something in my ear that just said, ask your mom. She's supposed to know what your purpose is in life. And she looked at me like, I have no idea what to say to you. I don't know. But that was the ancestors talking to me.
Yes.
And I remember in high school telling people, y'all, I'm sorry. I just don't think there's a hell. I cannot believe this almighty God that knows it's hard being here. This is me at like
Yes.
15, 16 years old, Juone. I can't believe God's going to send us to hell. And everybody's like, girl, there's a hell because that's what they teach us in church. I'm like, all right, whatever. So, but I really did do my best to be a very good Christian girl, a very
Yes.
good Christian young woman. And one day, my mother died. And I was right there with her when she passed. It really just opened up so much inside of me, Juone. So I, first and foremost, I lost fear of death.
Yes.
It became a beautiful thing. I felt honored that my mother chose me to be the person that she breathed her last breath with. It was like this real intimate connection that I had, and it made me just see the world differently. And it put me in such a painful position, once I started grieving, that I just started saying, I'm not going to sit up here and lie anymore.
Yeah.
Married to a man whose dad is a pastor. My husband is now a pastor. Like I was deep in the Christian tradition, all right?
Yes.
Baptist by this point in time.
Yeah.
And so, but I just said, F it. I don't care. I'm I got to figure out what this thing is that's calling me.
Yes.
Combining that with, I was raised up in violence. I was raised up in, I had a rather traumatic childhood. And then, of course, like I said, all this messaging that we get about Black women, just how flawed we are, how bad we are. Black people, how flawed and bad we are. Now, thankfully, I did get enough from my mom, who's like, "Girl, Black power, Black is beautiful."
Yes. Yeah.
The blacker the berry, baby.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
yes, mama. But still, it was like so much that I had to like work on and heal myself. Like you talked about, I'm very sensitive. I'm a gentle spirit, and so to be caught up with things that are violent or to not have that support of who I am.
Yes.
It was a lot of stuff for me to heal. And so it just like came to a bubble when my mom died. And I was just like, I got to figure out what this is that's calling me. And around 1999, um, I decided I'm just going to give up a title of a religion and I'm going to just figure out what is the truth. And so that's when I became officially what I call a truth seeker. And,
Yes.
I had been doing all of the Oprah Change Your Life TV and Iyanla in her early days. I was like one of her
Yes.
biggest fans and
Yeah.
everything. And so I just sort of stepped out and was like, the way I see it in my mind is I just became somebody who, like in the movie, just gets on the road and just says, I'm just going to walk and see where I end up because I
Yeah.
don't really know where I'm going. Um, and so what began to happen, it was not easy. It was a painful journey to say, I'm going to be authentically who I am when it comes to spirituality, which
Yeah.
was my secret. That was my dark secret. I don't think like y'all. I I don't want to be a Christian. As a matter of fact, I don't even want a religion. I believe in the goddess. I love African spirituality, all of this. So I was just like, I don't know where I'm going. And so I ended up just the way spirit leads us and the way our journeys unfold. I found my godparents, which in the African tradition of Ifa, that's what we call them, but we could also call them my spiritual teachers, my gurus, and Iya Oshinike and Babaji Kolioso, very kind-hearted people, very eclectic. They had been a part of Christianity, they had been a part of Islam, because a lot of Black people will go to Islam initially. They had been a part of Sufism, and then began to move into more of Eastern traditions, but they both were initiated into the African tradition, which was very important to me at that time, which it still is. And so then Iya Oshanike, with her wild self, was like, because I was just like still trying to figure things out. I had become a mom, which I didn't realize when my mom died, I was exposed, I was initiated into what I call the mysteries. And so, in giving birth to my children, I got initiated into another mystery,
Yes.
which is motherhood. And
Yes.
so, it was just like I could tell things were deepening within me. There was a richness that was coming to my life, but there was still me hiding to a certain degree
Yeah.
of who I am spiritually, because the Black community is very, very Christian.
In the Southern Black community.
Woo, the Southern Black community, baby, you better go find yourself in somebody's church.
Where you go to
Okay.
church
Where
is
you go
the
to
first
church.
question.
It's not even a question if you go to church or not. It's like, who your pastor? Okay. So yeah, it was challenging because I am down here in Tennessee. And so, but I knew I needed something. And so after I had my second baby and realized, oh my gosh, I'm very intuitive. Like I've always been highly psychic. I can see stuff
Yes.
that is down the path. It was just like there's something calling me. I just feel it. I can't deny this thing. If I do, I have to be dysfunctional. And I don't want to be dysfunctional. I want to show up for my children in a
Yes.
healthy way. And so my godmother, Oshanike, was like, I got this process. And I just want you to think about giving it a whirl. Well, it was an initiation into a goddess tradition that she had birthed. And when I first started, I was like, well, it's like women's empowerment. This is like
Yes.
so fun. And then about a month later, the first lady to finish the process, we went to her celebration. And Ia says, I just want to introduce y'all to Omi Seun, the first priestess of the Sacred Feminine Mysteries. I'm like, me and my friend are like, priestess? We didn't know we were signing up to be priestesses. What? I never, I never knew. Like what? And so, of course, I heard of the African priests and priestesses, but I didn't know I was signing up to be a priestess
Yes.
when I
Yes.
did it. And this has put me on firmly on my path.
Yes.
I've always been about what can we do to empower women. I used to want to be a MD, Juone. And
Yeah. What?
I used to want to be an MD. And I always said, I want to be the type of doctor who helps women and children. That's always been something I've wanted to do. Yes. And so the goddess tradition is my way of stepping into that healer mode, not being an MD, but, this
Yes.
way
Oh,
being a
definitely.
healer and helping women. And I always say, you help a woman, you help a child. So,
Yes.
my focus largely is women and helping us. And this vision was given to me by my godmother. I give deep thanks to my godmother. Her biggest thing is, hey, when you tap the power within yourself as
Yes.
a woman,
Yes.
you literally make the world better.
Yes.
And so, it took about 3 years for me to finish my initiation. And right at the end of that initiation, I began to realize I'm very connected to the goddess Yemoja. She is out of Nigeria,
Yes.
and she's known to be connected with the rivers, the waters of the world, but largely, especially in the diaspora, the ocean. She
Yes.
protected the Africans, or she cared for them in whatever way they needed to be cared for as they were brought through this land, transatlantic slave trade across the ocean.
Yeah.
And so Yemaja is very famous on this side for the ocean. And a few years after that, let's see here, I finished that in 2006, my goddess initiation. And I initiated into Yemaja in 2014. And so I'm a twice initiated priestess. And one of my true gifts, which was evident as a child, is wisdom sharing. Like all
Yes.
the adults used to tell me, you're very wise. Like you wise beyond your years. Because
Yes.
Juone, let me tell you something. I was green. Okay. I was very sheltered and very green. So it's just like, how does she know these things?
Yes.
And I just interject here. Sometimes on our path to understanding how do we heal and how do we share hope with people is to remember what are our true gifts, what are our true talents. And oftentimes this is evident even if somebody shuts them down, reawaken them and use them powerfully in the world, because when we operate from our giftedness, this is how, number one, we'll keep showing up, and
Yes.
number two, it makes us feel good. And when we share this good energy in the world, without really caring who cares, it actually does really make a difference. So I
Yes.
give thanks that my mother and other adults around me recognize that about me, because immediately once I stepped onto my path, I just started understanding oracles and learning how to do readings and
Yes.
share wisdom with people. So, part of what makes me a good coach is it's like, girl, let me do a reading for you. I don't know what you need.
Yes.
We're just going to consult the higher wisdom. So I
Yes.
love sharing wisdom. I've always loved sharing inspiration.
Yes.
And I now carry on the mission that was given to me, not only through my godmother, but through my guides, the ancient mothers, of helping women to understand the power that lies within us, to unapologetically share it in the world, to
Yes.
tap into intuition, to
Yes.
tap into luxury
Yes.
and
Yes.
self-care and
Yes.
well-being and the slower pace in life
Yes.
as true power tools that can be taken into the boardrooms. They can be taken onto these university campuses. They can be
Yes.
taken into the daycares,
Yes.
into the with the stay-at-home moms, homeschooling
Yes.
moms. We can take this anywhere.
Yes.
And this feminine way of living in the world,
Yes.
it can help heal our lives, but it helps to bring um, quality. It helps to bring love, healing, and hope
Yes.
to anybody, somebody at the grocery store,
Yes.
some little kid that when I was teaching fitness, I would see these little kids and I'm like, this kid needs a hug. They need somebody to give them an
Yes.
appropriate hug.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Appropriate. Yes.
but this child needs me to get, they would just run up and grab me. I'm like,
Yes.
I'm gonna hug this baby.
Yes.
Right. So that's what I'm all about. I'm all about unapologetically showing up as who and what you are. I'm also about realizing we don't have to live in a lot to feel like the world is dark. I don't know which direction to go in. No, we have the oracles, we have the
Yes.
ancient
Yes.
feminine ways. And when
Yes.
we reintegrate these into our lives, doesn't even matter what your religion is. Don't tell folk in your religion if you're doing this. Just
Yes.
use the wisdom. It
Yes.
works.
Yes.
It will
Yes.
make the world literally a better place.
Yes. Yes. You have dropped some knowledge. I feel like I'm watching the show again. You have dropped some stuff. I want to go back to you talking. Well, can you give us a definition about what you think hope is and what you think healing is? And you can do it from your own perspective of how you've seen it in yourself,
Mhm.
or you could talk about what your hope is for hope and healing in the world. What do you see? What are the areas where we need some hope and healing? So yeah.
Uh, So, first and foremost, with the hope piece, I think it's so important for us to make sure that we find ways to remain hopeful.
Yes.
Because as long as we are hopeful, it will keep our heads above the water. We won't
Yes.
sink below. So
Yes.
many people lose hope and they sit down on their dreams. They lose hope and just kind of give up on life. And a lot of times when we are lacking hope, we will find ourselves caught up in behaviors and relationships,
Yes.
jobs,
Yes.
just so much that it really begins to wound us. And so
Yes.
then that begins to lead us into needing the healing. Um, but it's important for us to, for instance, reach out and listen to people who teach spirituality, who offers you hope.
Yes.
Because a lot of times what happens is people are so stuck in a box
Yes.
that they're not willing to listen to the very person who can give them the hope that they need. And once you have the hope, like I said, you can stand on the hope and it's going to catapult you to power. And
Yes.
I want people to understand that. And so initially, when I first started out, because this is what I find with a lot of people, I'm scared of that. Well, the world made you scared of that.
Yes.
Okay. The world made you scared of all things that the world thinks, oh, this might give her a little power. This might give him a little power.
Yes.
And so if something gives you hope, this is what I began to do. Yeah, Oprah Change Your Life TV gave me so much hope. Before I really
Yes.
knew what to do, I was like, well, I'm just going to turn on Oprah and look at all of these people that she has on here.
Yes.
To this day, I remember what these people talked about.
Yes.
I can tell you some of the most pivotal teachings, maybe one, two lines that they said,
Yes.
that gave me hope, even though it was different
Yes.
from what I was used to hearing.
Yes.
And that hope made me say, well, maybe I could go in just a little bit more inside of myself and
Yes.
investigate what's here. Because when I think about what the world is teaching me, and again, I appreciate all religions, all spiritual paths.
Yes.
Doesn't matter to me. I honor them. I'll say this really quickly because it's so important. There was this one Babalao or African traditional priest that I got a reading from, Baba Ishangi. And he was sitting around talking to us at this time, we're in our early 30s and we're feeling black and radical and rebellious. And he heard us kind of digging on Christianity. He said, stopping you right there. You can't talk about Christianity around me. My mama was a Christian. She was a good Christian.
Yes.
Christianity did a lot for her. Christianity did a lot for our people.
Yes.
So y'all not gonna be talking about Christianity around me. I was like, ooh, that's true. My mama was a Christian. My grandma was a Christian. I ain't gonna never dog Christianity or whatever. How's on never? What
Yes.
I will say is that I did not feel Christianity was aspirational. Like the one thing that made me say I'm done, especially in the Black Baptist church,
Yes.
was we just dirty, filthy rags. I'm like, I already feel like a dirty, filthy rag. That don't make me feel aspirational.
Yes.
I rebuke you, preacher,
Yes.
whoever saying this to me. I'm not a dirty, filthy rag. In the
Yes.
Catholic Church, this bull crap of original sin. I mean, I had to do a lot of work to
Yes.
remove that teaching from my consciousness. It did not give me hope to think,
Yes.
when did Eve live? I'm carrying her. Damn. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. How do you ever
So
get over that? Yes.
exactly.
Yes.
I got through it thankfully because
Yes.
of initiation, to be
Yes.
100 with you. And
Yes.
so um, I just started saying, I'm going to listen to the things that give me hope. And
Yes.
Oprah Change Your Life TV was one of the first things that I listened to, and
Yes.
Deepak Chopra and Iyanla
Yes.
Van Zandt. And even now to this day, um, Michael Beckwith is one of my favorites to
Yes.
listen to when I need to feel hopeful. When I do divination, it makes me feel hopeful because
Yes.
I'll give you an example, Juone.
Yes.
I did not feel hopeful after the election of 2016. I felt like it's the end of the world. And
Yes.
so and so I was just like, none of the priests and priestesses or spiritual teachers are really talking about this. And so I decided, let me see what the astrologers are talking about. Maybe they can help me. Oh, astrologers, they live to talk about this kind of thing, right? Because they're
Yes.
like, oh, I see it in the stars. I'm the one that predicted it.
Yes.
So I started listening to the astrologers, and they began to use astrology and explain why did things turn out the way that they did in the
Yes.
United States. And I was like, huh, this is interesting. And a lot of times what they would do is they would say, well, the last time the sun and the moon lined up like this with Mercury and Mars was in this year. And they would take us back into history and show how astrology lined up with what actually played out. And I
Yes.
was like, huh. And so I began to learn astrology. Oh, well, before that, I began to say, okay, well, I'm gonna listen to what they say for me as a Pisces. That's all I knew at the time was I'm born during Pisces season, what they say for me.
Yes.
And Juone, they would predict with accuracy, this is a theme for Pisces right now. This is what you need to be working on. I'm like, shut
Yes.
the front door. Are they here with me? Do they know what's going on with me? Okay, I'm getting ready to work on this. And it would just work
Yes.
out for me. Guess what, Juone? They
What?
gave me hope. They gave me hope.
Yes.
And so I started listening and learning astrology, and I began to see what they could see. And
Yes.
so this is what I do. Like during 2020, well, 2019, going into 2020, I have a membership community, and I told them, y'all, get ready. Next year is going to be really, really difficult. I actually talked about it on my YouTube channel too. I would say, y'all, because the astrologers were talking about this like in 2017. They were like, 2020 is going to be a feast. Y'all better get ready. And I was like, y'all, like, I didn't even know anything. I'm like, y'all, the astrologers are saying we better be ready. The ancient mothers are saying nobody left behind. Y'all, we got to get ourselves together. But by the time 2020 came, I could predict for my community with accuracy, y'all, look, this month is going to be, it was like a string of months. And I would just say,
Yes.
y'all, just take some deep breaths. There's like higher energies going on. Because when we look at it from our human, um, like our human perspective,
Yes.
it seems like stuff is just randomly happening.
Yes.
And we don't quite understand, we don't quite get what's going on. But when you start listening to people who understand the oracles and use divination,
Yes.
then it's like, okay, this is what this means. And I don't have to panic because it's like, well, first of all, I can't do nothing about it. But secondly, I don't have to panic. It doesn't just seem super random. So I
Yes.
held my community for all of 2020 and just let them know. Like by the time we got to the end, I was like, y'all, it's a little bit better for like 2 months. January, I told my community before we went into January 2021, do not get excited. Don't be excited about 2021.
I
2021.
remember that. I was watching. Yes.
Good, Juwan. I'm proud of you,
Yes.
Juwan. And
Yes.
so when it happened, it
Yes.
doesn't jar you. It
Yes.
doesn't jar you. And it
Yes.
gives you hope. You're like, well,
Yes.
I hate it, but at least I know this is not something that's random that's
Yes.
happening. And so
Before
it
you
just,
do that, hold on.
go ahead.
Go on and put your platform,
Yes.
website, and everything on here, so we have it.
It is youtube.com/Tirra
Yes.
Omilade. TI2Rs AOMILADE.
Okay.
And my website, Goddess
Yes.
Body Mind Spirit, that's where you'll find everything. GoddessBodyMindSpirit.com is my website.
Yes. There's a membership community. It's not open right now, but
It'll be open
be
in
open.
December.
Yes. Okay.
Yay.
Okay.
Thank you, Juwan. Yes,
Yes.
I will
Come on, let's
definitely.
get that in there. I'm sorry.
That's what the membership community is for, baby, is to keep the sisters
Yes.
hopeful, to keep the
Yes.
sisters hopeful.
Yes.
And so, yeah, the divination and listening to people who inspire me and give
Yes.
me hope, this is something I think is really important. And sometimes it's very people who they say, don't listen to him, don't listen to her, they weird, they talking some stuff that's like evil. I'm like, well, come try it out. I always tell people, if it's so evil, then why do you feel so good?
Yes.
Right? Now when it comes to the healing part, healing to me is a process that we do regularly. The majority of us have something from our childhood that needs to be healed up. I
Yes.
think to be on a healing journey is one that is a lifestyle. It's not just like, well, I'm going to go to this retreat and, do some healing work. I love it when I talk to people who are like, girl, I got my therapist, I got my coach, I go to this, my massages and all this healing work. Because
Yes.
what is healing? Healing is body, it is mind, it is spirit, it is emotions.
Yes.
We need to be tapping and tuning into all of this type of healing work, because what ends up happening is the healing work that we do begins to peel away the layers
Yes.
that cover our essence, our inner luminosity, because we are luminous beings.
Yes.
And so we just want to keep doing any work that's going to peel away anything that keeps us from completely shining. Whatever it is that you're afraid to do, that's the thing you need to do. Because when we realize I'm afraid to shine, that's when you need to go in that direction. Okay. But it does take doing this healing work, feeling safe in our bodies to make sure that we don't sabotage ourselves, because the subconscious mind is something that I'm really big into talking about. It's prime directive is to keep you safe. And
Yes.
so we constantly have to be doing things to let our subconscious know I'm safe. This is not going to kill me. I think that the more healing work we do, the better. And
Yes.
the flip side of it is once we begin to realize, oh, I'm peeling away all this stuff that, this blocking me,
Yes.
it helps us to amplify whatever it is that we came here to do. It helps us to amplify our message, amplify our gifts, amplify our love,
Yes.
amplify our work to provide hope. Because I may provide hope using divination, but other folks may provide hope using art, or they may provide hope doing medicine, or I don't know. Everybody has their own way. But the
Yes.
main thing is we want everybody to feel hopeful
Yes.
and to share hope. And
Yes.
part of the way we do that is through making a choice to do things that are healing, either because we got some type of wound or because we just want to step into our power even more.
Yes. You know what you said rang true this morning, even last night as I was preparing for this first launch. I was so terrified and I just kept having to talk to myself. You've been talking to us about how we talk to ourselves, and I had to tell my little girl we are safe.
Yes.
Tell the subconscious we are safe. Nothing bad is happening right now. We can do this. We know how to talk. We like talking. We
You the
like
Queen
connecting
Juwan
with
too.
people.
I call you the Queen and the Empress now. We need to hear from Queen Juwan.
You
I'm
know,
proud
you
of you,
were
Juwan.
Yes, you are right on point about that. We have to peel this stuff away, because when we don't peel it away, we are left stuck. And if you think about an onion or anything that you kind of peel, if you don't do that peeling, that thing will dry up. It will sometimes, if you don't, with some things they get harder and then you can't crack through them. So it's all of that nourishing, if we think about it in that way, that we do it to nourish ourselves and to peel it, like you're always telling us, don't let the goddesses have to come through. You do that work and do the peeling yourself, because you don't want them to have to come through and do the peeling.
No.
And so yes, 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 yes.
Yes, Joanne, we don't want them. I remember back in maybe 2017ish or something like that, I put up a yearly reading. It was this powerful energy called Shango that came through for that year. And I just remember getting this message, change or be changed. I was like, I think I'm just going to change. So yes, I
That's
agree.
my personality too. It's like, some people have to go. There's a big hole in the ground, and they have to go in and explore the hole. I like to know the hole is there and try to make my way around the edges of the
I'm
hole,
with you,
or even
Juwan.
just a different street. I don't even remember where I was watching it. They were like, just don't even go down that street. Go down a different street. Why you got to go and explore the hole? Go. But so not to knock and judge, because there are some people they want to and they have to learn in that way. That's their path. So let me not be judging
But
people.
you know what though? What you have done though, Juwan, talking about perspective, is you're giving people an option.
Yes.
Some people don't realize you don't have to jump in that hole. Some people think, oh, I got to jump in that hole. Or like, weren't we born to jump in the holes? And so just by you saying it, maybe somebody's like, you know what? Maybe I can just take a different street. So you just share the word, Juwan. You share the word.
Okay, that's the hope. That's the hope for healing in this
That's the
this
hope for
platform.
healing.
So, is there anything else you wanted to say before we move on to
Oh
the
no, we
next?
can move on.
Okay, so this part of the show, I want us to talk about sharing some tips.
Mm-hmm.
So my tip for this week is self-care. I am on self-care. I talk to my students about self-care. In fact, it's their homework. I tell them it's their homework. In fact, last week we had fall break and I told them their homework was to have fun, because you can get so caught up in work and school and family and parenting and whatever else you're doing that you forget to do self-care and you forget to do something fun. And so I'm reminding myself to do self-care. I do a massage every week. Yes. This week I
That
missed
is
because you
so
was
good.
traveling, but I will find somebody to give me a massage. But it is my weekly ritual. And I started doing that because when I first started teaching, I was so stressed out about being perfect. It was that perfectionism stuff. As a Black woman having a PhD teaching mostly white students, I was absolutely terrified and scared all the time and had all that trying to figure out how to give them the information. Are they going to receive it? All that stuff in your head. And so I was like, you know what? I'm getting a massage every week. And that was kind of my de stressor for the week. And then I was like, I didn't need it as much in the same way for the same reasons. But I was like, this is just good for me. I like this. I go and spend a couple hours getting a massage and then doing the sauna and really listening. When I'm in the sauna, I listen to you and Iyanla and some other things. And it's like just rejuvenating myself, putting things back in. And so self-care is my tip for this particular show.
I
Well, do you
love
have
it.
any things that you want to share?
Yeah, let me just go on ahead and go with the self-care theme. So, what I will share is how do you get yourself set up on a regular basis for self-care? Because I'm all into living according to the cycles. And so, I just want to offer some quick tips for
Yes.
whenever the moon is in a particular sign,
Yes.
or if we're in a particular season, such as right now, girl, we just entering Scorpio season. All right, let's hear for all the gorgeous Scorpios out
Whoop, whoop,
there.
whoop.
So, if you want to, if you need a guide, because I think a lot of times people just kind of get a little bit lost on, well, what should I do? So, if the moon is in Aries, I say go work out, work those muscles, okay? Do some fire breathing. If the moon is in Taurus, that's a great time for eating some food that makes you just feel good. You know, maybe it's healthy or maybe it is just decadent and you just want to eat it. It's important for us to do that kind of thing, to step into luxury. If the moon is in Gemini, that's a great time to journal. Journaling is, to me, one of the best self care practices.
Yes.
You need somebody to listen to, your journal will listen to you. So let's see here. After that is Cancer. When the moon is in Cancer, you know, going to get those massages, um, taking a luxurious bath or a healing bath, maybe with some bath salts, since that's the
Yes.
ocean. When the moon is in Leo, going back to y'all go have some fun. Oh my gosh, why are you being so serious about life? Leo is about having fun. Go do something creative.
Yes.
When the moon is in Virgo, it's time to get yourself together because Virgo is like, hey, what are you doing for your health and wellness routine?
Yes.
So maybe you're gonna, do a little bit of a fast because Virgo is related to fasting, or maybe you want to do some yoga. I see Virgo as a yogic sign. When the moon is in Libra, go hang out with somebody. Self care is hanging out with other people. And
Yes.
yes, Libra is
Yes.
about making those connections. And, all of us have realized with this pandemic, when you see people in person now, or after the pandemic, once we started being able to see people, I'm like, I'm actually seeing you in
Yes.
person. Like these are real life humans. Oh my gosh. And it just
It's
feels
funny.
different.
When we came out of being on Zoom as much, everybody I saw that I had seen on screen, I wanted to hug them. I was like, "What's wrong with me?" I was like, "You're real. I need to touch you and see that you're
Yes.
real." Okay, I
It
hope
was
I didn't
so
stop your
good.
flow of
You
your.
didn't stop my
Okay,
flow at all. I
go on.
love I love the exchange.
Yeah.
Okay, so then when the moon is in Scorpio,
Yes.
that would be a good time to do a detox,
Okay.
to really purge the colon because Scorpio is related to the colon.
Okay.
Um, I would also say that would be a good time. I'll never forget one of my actually coaches for fitness was like, women need to have sex, women need to orgasm. So
Yes.
Scorpio is a good time for that.
Okay.
Uh, when the moon is in Sagittarius, that would be a good time to maybe work on how do you clean and purify your blood, detoxify your blood in your liver.
Okay.
And it's also that good time for establishing some hope, maybe deciding, okay, who am I going to listen to for the next month that brings me hope and inspires me, because that is a sign about that. It's also a great moon to engage gratitude and forgiveness. To me, Sagittarius is a really good sign that can help people move forward, because that's a sign that's about going into the future. And it gives us that, talk about hope. It gives us that hope, Sagittarius.
Yes.
And then Capricorn. Oh my gosh. Capricorn, I would say that would be a good time to do a fast. Now, maybe you're not going to just fast from all food, but Capricorn is about pulling back from a thing.
Okay.
It's about concentrating and getting smaller. And so that's one of the best things that you can do. Also, I say that's a good moon for stretching, because a lot of times Capricorn is tight energy.
Yes.
And so you want to make sure you stretch and your muscles aren't all tight and y'all shriveled up, because that's a sign for old people or the elders. And then when the moon is in Aquarius, work on your skin, work on your nervous system, your ankles. Folks don't be realizing you better take care of your ankles, baby. Your back. And last but not least, Pisces. When the moon is in Pisces, go on ahead and go to sleep.
Just sleep it off.
Just sleep it off, baby. Pisces is about getting that sleep. Anybody who has Pisces energy will tell you, if anybody messes with my sleep, they're going to be in trouble. But an utilized or taken care of part of the body or system, I should say, is the lymph system. It's very important for us to take care of our lymph system. A lot of us got problems because our lymph system is totally, toxic.
Yes.
And if all we did was just do a little bit of bouncing, baby, maybe even getting a swimming pool, that would help. That's a good one for like getting in the water also. And folks be sleeping on Pisces. Like I said, Pisces is about sleep. Folks sleeping on Pisces. Folks don't be understanding the importance of taking care of your feet. So do something for your feet when the moon is in Pisces.
Okay. So I just had, I feel like a little download just happened, and you've done it on one of your shows. So I'm going to pause us because I want we're going to dance. And I didn't ask you this ahead of time. Okay. And I know you've been encouraging us to dance. Mm-hmm. And so I would love for you to we're going to pause, but I would love for you to find some music. We'll come back on. And then we will dance together, because I was dancing the other night when y'all were dancing.
Were you dancing?
I danced in the replay.
Yeah, I saw your comment. Okay, I got you.
So we're gonna pause and do some dancing, and then we will wrap it up. And
I'm excited.
Yeah. Okay, let's pause. Okay,
so you ready to dance?
We getting ready to dance it out. Come on now. Okay.
Here we go.
Let's go.
Okay now, Tirra.
Me no feel control myself, sexy I beg. Come roll it again. Me want take you to the in a me bedroom. With a party again. The one you me want come close to your bumper. Me want to enter the center. Me want come guide you like Langard. Tinini, no, tinini. Sexy I beg you, they kill me. It can show about tinini. No, tinini.
Okay, I see your hood, girl.
Tinini, no, tinini. Tinini, no, tinini. Bounce with your bum, bounce with your bum. Everybody come and bounce with your bum. Do you really wanna bounce with your bum? Don't change that stuff.
Go, Juone. I see you, Juone.
Everybody come and bounce with your bum.
Okay.
Do you really wanna bounce with your bum? Don't change
that
stuff. Be like that.
Tonight, girl, everything is gonna be alright, baby. I'm loving the way that you do it.
Bounce with your bum.
Yo, keep it moving.
Bounce with your bum.
Look up, find it.
Okay,
bounce with your bum.
I'm loving the way that you do it.
Bounce with your bum.
Keep it moving.
Bounce with your bum.
Look up, find it.
Bounce with your bum.
Shine your back with me.
Bounce with your bum. Hey, peace, show me the level. That your back, yeah, only Jano.
Oh, now.
That pattern for do I'm slow mo. Ha, dress me do more. Who said Belle, come what can be watch on. Bemini, I think it done.
Let me see you, Juone. Go, Juone.
You know, all the girls that know my money. and sing on my song. So make I give it to them, but them go dance. Annabelle, bounce with your boom. Other girl, bounce with your back.
Okay, Juone.
Tonight, girl, everything is gonna be alright. Baby, I'm loving the way that you do. Girl, keep it moving.
Get one.
Let me tell you about me. I'm loving the way that you do. Keep it moving. Never find me.
Ready? We're gonna shake it. Yeah, Juone. Hey.
Said you with me, one chicketa, but when you kangaroo speak palala, hey, back and daughter, won't you have me walk on the mala? Said you with me, one chicketa,
Hey. Oh,
kangaroo
okay.
speak
Okay.
palala,
Oh.
I'm wanting, hey, my she got to
We're making it, Juone. Oh. Oh, you remember? I know I did it. Wait there.
Something to do my body.
Everybody come on, bounce with your bum. Do you really wanna bounce with your bum?
Remember?
Bounce with your bum. Bounce with your bum. Everybody come on, bounce with your bum. Do you really wanna bounce with your bum?
Tonight, girl, everything is gonna be alright.
Whenever you're ready to stop, we can stop.
Baby, I'm loving the way that you do. Girl, keep it moving. Go find me. Feeling me, tell you. I'm loving the way that you do. Keep it moving.
Okay now.
Go for it.
Hype lyrics on the beat.
Well, girl, we did it. We did it. We did it.
We did it,
Oh,
Juone.
excuse the scraping. We did
So much
it.
fun. Yay!
Woo! So yes, I am so glad you all were here today. I'm so glad you were here to
My
be
pleasure.
with me.
My honor.
Look, I gotta catch my breath.
You're good. Juone, you're a really good dancer.
I love, honey, in my 20s, we were out every weekend dance.
That's what I'm talking about.
I need to
So
get
look, we're
back
gonna have to
into
keep
it.
that tradition going. It doesn't matter what our
Yes.
age is. We gotta dance.
Yes, look, when I broke a sweat, and you look, that was on my things to do this week is break a sweat.
Go.
So here we go.
Just Juone.
Yes, so I hope you all enjoyed today and our talk about hope and healing. Tirra, I am so appreciative. I actually want to bring you back to talk about homeschooling.
Yes, bring me
Because
back.
I do see that in the vein of hope and healing.
Yes, it is.
And so we will figure out a time. Say your platform again for us.
Yes, the main one is my website, goddessbodymindspirit.com. You can find my YouTube channel, which is where I share the most. You can subscribe to my newsletter, which I send out once a week to share hope and healing.
Yes.
And yeah, any offers that I have, but you will definitely get to know me well if you go to my YouTube channel. But I'm on Instagram, so all those details are there, goddessbodymindspirit.com. I really appreciate you, sister.
Yeah, I appreciate you too. And so stay tuned. I will sign off with Tirra, and then I will come on and do my Just Juone section and talk about kind of what I'm downloading from our conversation today. And so I look forward to seeing you all in that section.